Hey, Ohio, welcome once again to the Retirement Blueprint Show with Tim Lofton of Axum Planning and Wealth. I'm Spike Spangle. Tim, great to see you. What's on your mind? I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah, a little bit of anxiety about retirement.
Yeah.
Hey, perfectly normal. There is, a lot to the actual health impacts on worrying about retiring.
We have done, we did a show, in fact, last year about this, and I think just like your health, it's worth revisiting once a year, your health and your wealth.
Get a checkup. Get a checkup.
Get your checkup.
Yeah.
Get your blood pressure done, because if
Sure.
it's up too high on your finances, yeah, we want to make sure that you're okay. But there's a lot of true and real anxiety today about being able to be retired, stay retired. I mean, this is something that folks used to look forward to, and right now we're stressing about many different factors. What are some of them that you see?
Well, it's all because of Facebook and Instagram, because we're watching our friends and we're like, oh my gosh, like they're living their best life, and I'm not doing that. Listen, they're not doing that all the time. They're taking a picture and sticking it on social media. We've got to have both. If we have wealth and don't have health, I don't get to enjoy it. I don't get to spend it. Right? And if we have wealth, or we have health and no wealth, there is no enjoying it because I don't have any money. So it really takes both. And that means that we need to be keeping an eye on both things. A financial checkup, a health checkup annually at a minimum, just to make sure, are we on track? Are we doing the things that we're supposed to do? Is there changes? You know, new presidency, new Congress, new Senate, new legislative changes, tax changes, all of these things come into play. I mean, right now, if you're a federal employee and you got one of those letters in the mail that said, hey, guess what? You can be done now, and you don't know the answer if you can actually be done now, give us a call. Let's get that health checkup and wealth checkup done this year.
I think we do just about everything better in life with a good night's sleep. And if things are keeping us up at night, if we're pacing around and we don't have anybody to talk to about it, that starts to kind of roll downhill and just start to feel worse and worse about it. Some of these things are happening, worrying about Social Security, worrying, do I have enough? Worrying, do I have enough to cover my spouse, and make sure that we take care of all of those costs later on. Let's take away those question marks. Let's take away those worries.
That anxiety is based on you not having answers to questions or not knowing firmly that those answers are correct. Once you build a plan, if we sit down with you and we build a retirement blueprint, I will promise you that most of those worries are going to go away because we're going to address them. We're going to be intentional about them. We're going to build solutions around them to make your retirement look the way you want it to look.
On a radio show we do a 1-hour radio program on WHIO as well every single week. You talked about the idea of knowing your home economy. Look, we're scrolling at night, we're watching the news and getting all of these alerts, but let's focus on the home economy. What is the home economy and what you can control?
Yeah, the home economy is what you're spending. What are your fixed costs? What things do you have to have? What things would you like to have? And what things do you get that you don't even need? Getting that dialed in. And listen, you know, Spike and I don't like budgets. I mean,
Budget. I don't want to hear it.
We are anti-budget.
I don't want to hear it.
We develop spending plans. That's what we do, and we build a spending plan that can be supported by what you have coming in. And by what you have coming in, I'm talking even if you no longer have a paycheck, we're still looking at your assets, your Social Security, your pension. We can build a spending plan that will address the things that you would like to do, the things that you have to do, and more importantly, make sure that there's going to be something left over.
A budget sounds like a diet.
Yeah,
you know what
temporary.
You know what a spending plan sounds like to me? An eating plan.
It's a lifestyle
eating
plan
is something, I can get into that. But if you tell me what I can't eat, that's no fun.
Think about how the brain works. The reason the brain doesn't mind a diet is it knows it's temporary, it's going to go away, and I'm going to get to go back to what I liked doing before. A lifestyle change, the brain has to adapt. It has to say, all right, this is my forever plan. It's no different in retirement. It's no different with spending. When we develop a spending plan, we're reprogramming our brain. This isn't temporary. This is what we do now.
Tim, a couple of times over the last month or so, we've done the show so many times, we haven't had a lot of time to explain it. I wanted to give you a little bit of space here to talk about the retirement blueprint. It's what you created, all the many different areas that it will cover for people, because this might be what's creating some of that health anxiety about our retirement. What are some of the question marks that you can answer with your entire retirement blueprint?
I mean, first of all, you need to know the questions to ask. And a lot of times people come into our office and they're like, Tim, like, we know some of the big ones. You know, we've got to figure out Social Security and how to claim that. And, you know, maybe there's a potential stay in a nursing home, but it's way more in depth than that. We are going to delve into questions that you probably know the answers to. You just need to know the question to ask. How are we going to get our income in the first place? What does the tax look like on that income? How long does that income have to last? What about inflation? What about if I lose a spouse and I lose their Social Security and pension? Where will that leave me? How will I make that up? These are the types of questions that we get to address in building you your own retirement blueprint. This isn't a booklet we send out or some, white paper that I wrote. This is an actual trademark process that's going to take a look at your needs. We're going to get to know you. We're going to get to understand what you want your retirement to look like, and then we're going to build a plan around that. We're going to build an income plan for you, an estate plan that's going to protect those assets. It's going to make sure it passes on to who you want to pass them on to, the way you want, when you want, how you want, so that it all works together. We're going to help you decide when to claim Social Security, when to claim your pension. Do I pick the survivorship? Do I not pick the survivorship? All of those questions that right now are probably running around inside your mind, or maybe your spouses ask you and you didn't know the answer to it, those are the things that we're going to do for you in building a plan.
That is the complete retirement blueprint, and that is something that you can get a part of right now, very simply by calling the phone number down on the bottom of the screen. We'll get you started on that process. There is no cost to come in the office. There's no obligation. You're not going to be hit with a bill or a check. It's not a sales process. It's not something like where you're worried about going onto a car lot and you're going to be sold something that you can't afford. This is a process for you. So, yeah, and we are going to find out what you do and don't need. And as they are registered as fiduciaries, we'll tell you exactly what you need to do. We'll tell you the things that you're doing well, and we'll show you some things that maybe you can make adjustments on to get the retirement lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Call right now, that phone number down on the bottom of the screen, to get started on your own no-cost retirement blueprint. Health and Wealth, your 2025 checkup, when we get back right after this.
Do you feel like you're stuck when it comes to retirement, with more questions than answers? For example, do you understand the impact inflation will have on your savings? Are you prepared if something happens to your spouse? How will you replace their income? Is your estate plan up to date? Would a nursing home stay potentially wipe out your retirement savings? If any of these questions are on your mind, we would like to invite you to sit down with one of our financial retirement advisors and discover our trademark process, the Retirement Blueprint. Any successful retirement starts with a plan. Let us plan your tomorrow today. As Americans, we strive for better. From a better house to a better career to a better life for our kids. Better has become the American way. But when it comes to your retirement, what does better mean to you? More income, flexible lifestyle, better solutions? A better retirement begins with a better plan. To claim your retirement readiness review, call the number you see here. You only retire once. This is your opportunity to plan for better.
Welcome back. Here with Tim Lofton of Axum Planning and Wealth. This is the Retirement Blueprint Show, and we can put together that retirement blueprint for you. Every single year, you're supposed to go to the doctor, get your blood pressure, make sure that all of your vitals are good and what's going on. This is your 2025 checkup this year. And what exactly goes into the health check?
Why do you do that, Spike? You do that to catch things that maybe you didn't know were there, right? Maybe you've never had high blood pressure, but guess what? You go in and all of a sudden you do, and they caught it early and you can address it. this is where the wheels can come off of your retirement plan. You skip a year, 2 years, 5 years, all of a sudden 10 years have gone away. You haven't really looked at your plan in a while, and all of a sudden it's gone off the rails and you didn't even know.
One of the biggest things about doing the checkups is identifying gaps, all kinds of gaps. I want to go through our list here. First, you said income gap. What does that mean in retirement?
Well, income gap can mean multiple things. A lot of times, income gap is the amount of guaranteed income that's coming in and then what's left over. It's kind of that difference that I am responsible for, kind of bringing it up into the light of, I've got these investments to cover that difference, but how do I invest that money? How do I avoid taxes on that money? How do I navigate that? And so it's not just pulling money out, but it's pulling out of the right accounts at the right time.
And sitting at home, I mean, we can look to see how much we have in our accounts. You can look to figure out what you're getting in your Social Security. But the gaps, I'm assuming you either have a software or a visual to kind of show us where our accounts are running out. I believe I've seen this as well, is that we also have to do the kind of showing you what happens when one spouse passes away and what accounts do and don't go away.
There's 3 or 4 things that every person that comes into our office is going to get just for going through the process. We're going to build an income plan, first of all. That is inclusive of the actual retirement blueprint. It's going to give you kind of a one-pager of income coming in, taxes, investments, what inflation looks like over time. We're also going to give you a copy of our 3 bucket. That is where we start to give jobs to the money. Why this is important is all the money shouldn't have the same job. There's income needs, there's growth needs, there's money that you may need in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, money that you don't need at all, and money that you might want to pass on. That all gets handled in that 3 bucket. And then we're going to delve into risk. We're going to take a look at how much risk are you currently taking, exactly the way you're invested now. Is that the appropriate amount of risk? Are you taking risk in the right accounts? We're going to be able to show you in black and white what that looks like. And then lastly, we're going to do a deep dive in financial planning. We've got the software to actually show you probability results on if we make these little bit of changes. If we do a Roth IRA conversion, how much money does that add to my nest egg at the end? Are we or are we not going to claim Social Security at 62, 65, 67, 70? All of these math equations, we're able to sit down and give you the answers just for coming in our office and meeting with us.
Your wealth and health checkup as well, as we're identifying gaps. These are just things that you might not be aware of. This is why you want to come in and sit down with somebody. Insurance gaps. Now this surprises me from Axum Planning and Wealth. That we're going to talk about insurance. I thought that's the guy at a separate office and saying, I need life insurance for when I have kids.
Well, you can get life insurance from that guy, or you can get the right amount of life insurance for the right reasons, for the right purpose. America is underinsured today, significantly so. And what I mean by that is I'm not talking about life insurance. I'm talking about what life insurance does. If you are working right now, and let's say that you're making $80,000 a year, and something were to happen to you, and all of a sudden that income went away, the life insurance needs to replace that income, not just the principal, but it needs to make sure that income is replaced. That's where we see a lot of underinsured individuals.
So there's also different kinds of insurance. So we've got our family insurance. We've got insurance that maybe we'll want to use for estate planning later down the road. But then also things like Medicare. Do you mind if I just throw this? Because we see all of that come October, that time of year. You start seeing all those commercials out there.
And your mailbox blows up.
But we've just talked about healthcare and gaps. So there's all that gap insurance that you get with your Medicare as well. That gets to be confusing.
Well, it does get confusing because a lot of it is based on, what medications, what problems, what pre-existing things do you have going on? Do you want that free gym membership or you don't really care about that? Do you need hearing aids? All of those supplemental insurances are a big piece of the Medicare puzzle.
Okay. And then gaps coming in for your wealth and health review for 2025. In your estate planning. Now, as soon as we start saying estate planning, you might be thinking what we're leaving to the kids and the grandkids. But I think a bigger part of a discussion that we've had over the last 6 months is this $90 trillion of wealth transfer, supposedly from our great baby boomer generation that they've accumulated. And they're talking about how in the next 30 or 40 years, it's going to be passing to the next generation. I think estate planning gaps are important to talk about, making sure that we're taking care of our spouses, making sure that the assets are here to work for us while we're still around in a financial way. Now, who do we have to be in charge of those assets as the both of us get older?
Right.
I mean, you pick your brother or sister who is the same age? Do you choose which one of the kids you trust? Who do you put in charge of this?
Well, this is a very individualized conversation, and every family dynamic is different. But, you know, we see all kinds of gaps in the places of estate plans, because a lot of times when we're looking at an estate plan, if we're 60 years old, we're thinking, you know, I'm going to pass this money on. Maybe my kids are in their 40s, and, you know, this is something that's going to happen a long time from now. But what if something happens right now? Are your kids ready to get a huge influx of money? If you died today and they got $1 million, $2 million, are they financially savvy enough to do the right things, or at least the things you would like to see them do? So we have to plan for today, we have to plan for tomorrow, and then we have to plan for what's most likely to happen is somewhere in our 90s, maybe 100, we pass away. Remember, your kids are in their 60s or 70s when that happens.
Your financial health and health checkup for 2025. I'll ask it this way. Financially, are you taking on new patients? I mean, so sometimes you got a doctor who's got too many patients.
We are taking on new patients, Spike. We have a fairly large team of people, and each of them are very, very good at what they do. And because we have different responsibilities broken up with the team, where, you know, the estate planning attorney is just doing estate planning stuff, and the CPA guy is just doing tax planning, and the financial planners are just doing financial planning, it's where we bring it all together that you get that really comprehensive plan.
All right. Folks, you can get your own comprehensive retirement plan right now. Get your financial checkup done at no cost to you. There's no copay for this. You're not going to get a secret bill a month or so later in the mail. This isn't like insurance. The Retirement Blueprint is for you. It's tailored for your family, your goals, your objectives, and we are willing to do this comprehensive review, your Retirement Blueprint, at no cost to you. All you have to do is call the phone number down on the bottom of the screen. What is keeping you up at night? What is helping you not be able to sleep because you've got these question marks in your mind? Let's get rid of those question marks. Let's help you sleep all the way through the night because you know you've got your retirement covered. Get your own Retirement Blueprint started right now. Call that phone number. We'll be right back with Fact or Fiction Financial when we get back right after this.
Hi, Tim Lofton, partner and co-founder of Axum Planning and Wealth. Let's cut to the chase. The markets, the economy, it's a mess. People are scared, feeling lost and unsure about their financial future. But here's the deal. You don't have to be. You're probably worried if your portfolio is really working for you. That's where we come in. At Axum, our team offers a complimentary retirement review to ensure that you are on track, a fresh set of eyes to give you that crucial second opinion. You need a fiduciary, someone who has your best interests at heart, not theirs. That's what we provide. A fiduciary perspective that you can trust. If you're concerned about your portfolio, don't wait. Give us a call. Take control. Get that second opinion. Let us plan your tomorrow today. Life insurance isn't just about a payout when you pass away. It can be a powerful financial tool to help you lower taxes, grow your wealth, and protect your family's financial security. Imagine having a plan that grows with you, providing funds for retirement, education, or the unexpected. It's time to rethink life insurance and what it can do for you. Call now for your comprehensive life insurance plan review.
Welcome back to the Retirement Blueprint Show with Tim Lofton of Axum Planning and Wealth. Today we're talking about your wealth and health, and they definitely go hand in hand. If you have a plan in place, if you know what your spending plan is, if it's been crash tested, you're probably sleeping pretty well at night. You know that you've got everything covered. But when you don't have all of these question marks in your mind covered, keeps you up at night. It can actually have you wandering the house late at night, trying to have that cup of tea and put you back to sleep. So let's do a little bit of this, and maybe we're applying to our wealth and health. Financial fact or fiction, news or noise. You ready for it?
I am.
Okay. All financial advisors seem to give the same kind of advice. What's the point of me getting a second opinion if I'm going to get the same opinion from the first one?
That is a great one. I love that one. So here's the thing. About 95% of advisors out there are what we call accumulation advisors. Simply put, they're there to help you grow your money. So if you're hearing the same story from advisor to advisor, from dinner seminar to dinner seminar, other than the free steak, you're not hearing anything new. Come to one of our live events. But here's the facts. Most people are looking at growth. That's what they're looking at. When you sit down with them, that's where the advice stops and starts. What to invest in, how to grow your money. But that stops being good advice once we get to retirement. Because now I'm worried about how am I going to get income out? I'm not putting any more in. How do I get it out? How do I not run out? And then what in the world do I do with the taxes, with this inflation stuff? Nursing homes, long-term care expenses are insane. Like, there's all these different needs. A very small percentage of people out there actually specialize in retirement planning, true retirement planning, where they have somebody giving tax advice that's actually a CPA, somebody that's giving estate planning advice who's actually an estate planning attorney, and then financial planning, looking at the insurance products. All those different things are coming from a collective group of people.
I'll ask it the opposite way.
Okay.
Just like if you have a serious diagnosis, you're probably going to go get a second opinion.
Yeah.
Just to be sure. People look at labs and x-rays in different ways, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have any problem with anybody doing a second opinion on your retirement blueprint?
No, absolutely
Because I have a
not.
feeling that they'll be like, we don't have a tax guy, we don't have estate planning. If you can't do everything that's in your retirement blueprint, I don't think you'd have any problem with somebody looking at it.
And you brought up a great point. You get a diagnosis of something and you go get a second opinion, and the second opinion says, well, we can do this operation or we can give you this medication. Why didn't my other guy tell me about that? He didn't know. That wasn't his thing. Or maybe the toolbox that your advisor is going to just doesn't have the tools in it because your toolbox is small. That's where they don't need a big toolbox if all I'm trying to do is grow your money, right? But I need a huge toolbox if I'm trying to build something like the Retirement Blueprint.
We know that a lot of folks might not like going to see a doctor because they're either afraid of the news, or
Right.
they don't enjoy it, or they don't like giving blood, whatever it might be.
They may not want to get on the scale, know what their weight is. I mean, that's a real thing.
Yes. Well, there's a Harris poll that was done last year that 71% of Americans have fear or anxiety about going to see a financial advisor. And 45% of Americans over the age of 45 would rather go see a dentist than go see a financial advisor.
I
What's
can't
the
imagine
anxiety
that. Those
about?
people have never had a root canal.
I'm guessing you have. What do you think the anxiety is? Or for our viewer out there, is it painful like going to a dentist when they come in and sit down with you?
I mean, listen, I get it. First of all, a lot of times, if you're the person in your household, and it's usually one person in the household, sometimes it's the husband, sometimes it's the wife, that makes all those financial decisions. You're kind of looked at in your family as the person who's supposed to have all the answers, even though you don't do that for a living, but it's something you've taken on. So there's anxiety that, maybe I'm going to get in the office and the advisor is going to ask me a question. I don't know the answer to it, and I'm going to look like, oh my gosh, my husband was in charge of this. He doesn't even know what's going on. Or you're making decisions. Somebody's asking you questions about them. You don't have the answers. That is a amount of anxiety that's a lot to deal with, and it creates kind of a distrust, a worry. You know, I'm afraid I'm going to ask a dumb question, or I'm not going to understand something. None of that matters in our office. We're here for you. We will go as fast or as slow as you want to go. We will figure out solutions that you can understand. And more importantly, you're going to be able to answer the questions. Why do you own it? How much am I paying for it? What's the job of that money in the first place? And how is it going to work to meet the retirement that I described to you when we first got together?
And when you come in for your financial checkup, your financial second opinion, if you already have a financial team, again, there's no cost to it. We're going to put you at ease. This is something that the team actually really enjoys to do. And I promise you this, we are not going to put you in a silly gown. Your second opinion, you can do it in the comfort of your regular clothes, and we'll just have a conversation about this stuff. How about some of the things, what do we have to bring in? Like that first appointment, I mean, I know we have to go through the diagnostics,
right.
But do we have to come in with all of the accounts, everything at once?
You do, and this is how easy it is. If you click on that QR code right here, it is going to actually set up an appointment for you. You're going to get an email confirming the appointment, telling you where to go, and more importantly, exactly what to bring. You get that stuff together, just like you're going into the doctor's office and kind of bringing in your charts and records, and we're going to take a look at that, and we're going to put together a plan that's going to help you retire, and more importantly, stay retired. And
one of the biggest things as well is that I like the fact that Axum Planning and Wealth, they work with the assets that you have. Mm-hmm. This isn't about saying, why haven't you saved enough, or why haven't you hit this goal or objective at this certain age? Not at all, and that might be what some of the anxiety is about. So let us take that away. This is just a conversation about where you want to go, what you've already done, and if we can show you some ways that you might be able to improve the situation, Tim and his team will tell you exactly what you can do, and you can decide together how you want to work together. So the retirement blueprint, before we leave here today, tell folks what their wealth and health, their second opinion, will actually show for them.
Here's what that second appointment, that wealth and health checkup is going to get you. An income plan, a tax plan, an estate plan, taking a look at your Social Security and pension claiming strategies, Medicare, long-term care, and putting it all together, custom for you, so that you can retire and stay retired.
Tim Lofton, thank you so very much. I think from here we're going to have to go hop into the radio booth here. We got a full hour of radio program. We'll maybe continue with our wealth and health checkup throughout the series of this month because it is National Health Month. So call the phone number right now down on the bottom of the screen. Get started on your own absolutely free retirement blueprint, your dedicated strategy for you being and staying retired. Income, risk analysis, fee analysis, Social Security, estate planning, health care selections, and most importantly, making sure that you can be and stay retired. Thank you so much for watching the program. Now take that last step. Call the phone number down on the bottom of the screen and get started today. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.